Reality Team TV. We're back, and we've got the lovely Jordan. How are you doing, darling? How are you
I'm
doing
doing great,
today?
thank you. I'm doing great, doing really great. The sun's out. I'm
It's
embracing it,
beautiful.
taking in the sunshine. All
Hey,
right,
we might as well take in the sun. You never know. Tomorrow it might not be there,
exactly.
Like what we said. Literally, I just want to ask you something, yeah, from the get go, yeah. Like, you see, like when I was looking through your page, yeah, like one of the things that stood out, yeah, was obviously these days I love speaking to like business people from different men or women, and obviously it says the word entrepreneur, stood out to me, and obviously it could mean many different things. You could
Yeah,
be doing this, you could
yeah.
be doing that. So like entrepreneur, like what type of things obviously are you into? What type of things do you do? Obviously we're gonna break it down
Yeah,
slowly,
yeah.
whichever angle you wanna go. But when I
Okay.
say entrepreneur, you're a boss lady,
I am.
you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say that word, just in general?
I work for myself. I make my own money.
Yeah.
And I do it on my own schedule.
Come on.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's also about utilizing my talents. And just basically being able to make money and provide for my children.
Absolutely. And you see, usually like obviously off camera was talking about obviously certain things, family and that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, sometimes like what we say, usually like certain things that we get along the way,
Yeah.
it comes from either like obviously our parents or obviously we pick up along the way.
Yeah.
So talking about, like this business mindset that you've got, where did this business mindset come from?
Do you want to know something? Both my parents, excuse me, I have to give it to both of them because
Big
they
them
are
up, big
both
them up.
extremely talented individuals for different reasons.
Yeah.
My mum is an absolutely incredible dressmaker. So she's worked for like all the big bridal stores from Selfridges, Demetrius, Birkitex, all those kinds of stores. And she's made a lot of personal wedding dresses, groom suits. You know what I mean? She's like stupid talented when it comes to her hands.
Big up Mumsy.
Yeah, definitely. And my dad, he grew up in St. Lucia, so he's the type of person that can make something out of nothing. So just give him loads of planks of wood and he will make you a whole wardrobe. He'll make you, you know what I mean? Anything you want. Yeah, he's like that.
Yeah.
So on top of that, they both had day jobs. So I kind of became accustomed to watching my parents, especially my dad, go to work, like regimented, got to make the money, make sure everybody's okay. But at the same time, using talent to provide a nice environment, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that I got it from both of them. I would say my work ethic is more from my dad though. My dad grinds to the bone and so do I,
Okay.
basically.
Like early memories, because obviously here on the Red Chair we like to
Early memories.
to go
Early
back as much as
memories.
possible. Yeah. Early
Okay,
memories.
cool. The early memories I have of my dad is like waking up in the morning and him not being at home because he's already gone to work, and then being put to bed and then kind of waiting for him to come, home, which is usually late, 7-8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
For him to come in and basically say goodnight. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, yeah.
I was very much a daddy's girl, so I would wait around for my dad. And then on a Friday, regimentedly, he would drop me to my nan's house. So I'd always pretty much spend the weekend at my grand's or friends or whatnot. But that's what I was accustomed to. I was accustomed to watching my mum, constantly cleaning, making sure that there was, food for us to eat, whether it was takeaway or cooked meals, it didn't matter. I used to see her kind of overwork herself.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of lessons from that to not fully overwork myself, but at the same time, so that, you become resentful of being a mum and become resentful of your everyday stuff. I didn't want that for myself. So I've kind of learned to pay attention to how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I will definitely grind myself to the bone. But if my body is screaming, I need to be sleeping and you need to spend the next 5 days sleeping, then I don't want to have to be in a committed job where I have to ignore how my body's feeling and go into work because I'm working for someone else.
It's true.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather basically rest, do my own stuff at home. I've got, little projects outside of the jobs that I do to make my money. Hopefully long term they'll be beneficial financially as well. But either way, I just try my best to make sure that I utilize my time to the best of my ability. Yeah. Also, I have 2 kids. So especially my older son, he has his own you know, things going on, basketball. He just finished his GCSE exams. So working for myself is really about being able to be present for my children, present for myself. Yeah. You know, I find that people that are in like regimented jobs, Monday to Friday, got to work 9 to 5, they lose track of themselves. They lose track of the things that they want for themselves. They lose track of their dreams, all that sort of stuff. And I definitely don't want to do that. So I work for myself.
Nah, I totally understand, honestly. And what was the first like business idea you ever came up with?
Oh my goodness. The first business idea. This was years ago. But I've always done hair. So I could probably say that was maybe the first business idea. But as a kid, it wasn't a business idea. It was just, oh, I'm getting paid to do hair. Does that make sense? And then I would say my first official business idea was, I called it Nature That's True.
Nature That's True.
Nature That's True to You.
I love the name.
And basically I was making hair products, natural hair products, shea butter based, oil based, organic basically. And I was doing that for a little while I was doing hair, and I was selling it to my clients, and yeah, made a little business off of that.
Yeah. And obviously fast forward,
Yeah.
Like, did you ever get to a point where you probably thought, you know what, maybe I'm gonna pivot in a different, like obviously in a different business, or like in a different kind of like thing? Basically, what kind of stopped you in terms of like pursuing with your hair business and what you was doing at the time? You get me?
Hair is a talent. Yeah. And hair, once upon a time, was something that I enjoyed to do. I'm a firm believer of like when you stop enjoying something,
yeah,
maybe you should think about doing something else.
Did you actually stop enjoying?
Yeah, I stopped enjoying it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that I stopped doing it because I still make money from doing hair, but I wasn't so much caught up on, I mean, who really wants to stand up for 12 hours a day? Plaiting hair. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't something that I felt like I'd be doing long term. So I guess because of that, I was just like, right, okay. At one point I was managing a black hair salon. And then I was like, I want to go to uni. This is not what I want to do long term. So I decided to go to university and study youth studies and criminology. And that's what I did.
Okay. Even just talking about your studies then, like when you went off to study, you know, like youth studies, like you said, and criminology, how did that journey go?
That was a very interesting experience for me. So the first year was a breeze. Met my daughter's dad.
Okay.
Second year, we dated a little bit, and things moved pretty quickly, and I ended up getting pregnant with twins. One of them's not here, obviously. I have my daughter. She'll be 6 in November.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay, life. And then basically found out that he was playing the field, and so what I did was finished my exams and ended up leaving. So I left with a level 4.
But was he a football player?
No, he ended up playing the field, meaning...
Oh, so, yeah.
Playing the field, meaning playing around with other women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's all right. I like that though.
I'm just a little bit naive.
Not that
sometimes.
kind of field.
Oh, okay.
He was in the pond fishing for more fish, basically.
Okay, fishing for more fishes.
Yeah. And at the time, obviously, I was pregnant with my daughter, so that was quite traumatic for me. On top of that, my mum told me a huge lie, and led me to basically worry about her throughout my whole pregnancy, to find out after that the lie wasn't real. Also, I moved house and I moved my son's school, so a lot was going on.
A lot was going on at the time, yeah?
And what I really wanted to do was just kind of settle everything else so that I could solely focus on my exams. And to be honest, I'd like to go back in January next year and finish my degree in psychology rather than criminology and youth studies.
Okay. Well, could you do that? Could you change?
Yeah, you can change. Yeah.
Okay.
You just might have to do more modules, different modules.
Okay. So when all of those things were going on at the time, like, what did you do in terms of like to keep your mind, your mental, like, sane, to keep you like, from not going too crazy? Because sometimes
that's a good question.
You get me? Because sometimes when you've got so many different things going all over the place, two things could either happen, right? You could either like just literally go down the wrong road, like, go crazy mentally, just be all over the place, or, find a certain kind of coping mechanism or something to literally keep your mind and to keep your mind.
I worked
in a good
all the way
place?
through my pregnancy.
Oh,
I
through?
worked, yeah, and I did exams up until I was about 5 or 6 months, and then I worked my butt off because the situation didn't go the way I'd hoped, and so I knew that as a single parent I had to make sure that I saved a lot of money and provide for the child that was coming. So that was my only focus, really, to make sure that I completed the year at uni so I wouldn't have to come back and repeat, and make money.
Yeah. Did you when you was going through, like, because sometimes people, like, once again, when some people are going through, like, certain things, but they're studying at uni, certain people consider that taking off, like, a gap year or doing things like that.
That's kind of where I was at, but it wasn't
Okay.
for the year. It was more like, I just need to make sure that financially me and my kids are good. I've got, I have a son and I have a daughter, and they're like nearly 11 years apart. So how can I explain it? Little things that parents might keep, baby chairs or buggies and all that sort of stuff. Because the age gap was so massive, I'd thrown away everything. My plan wasn't to become a mum again, to be honest with you. Like, at that point, me and my son were traveling, we were living nice, name brand everything. Life was good. But I had prayed for my daughter, and the minute I found out I was pregnant, I was like, this is the baby I've been praying for. And because of that, I had to make, different choices.
Different choices, yeah. So fast moving forward, like now, after having, your second child, like, how was life after that when, this daughter of yours that you prayed for arrived? Bless her, yeah? So fast.
She softened me, man.
Oh, bless her.
She softened my heart. She softened my soul. I feel like up until the birth of my daughter, I was very much in masculine energy, survival, fight or flight kind of mode. And when my daughter was born, with all the, like, trauma that came with the pregnancy and the uncertainty of what could happen after her birth, all I can say is I just worked. I'm the sort of person, I think I get it from my dad, where when I'm going through something, I have to just have tunnel vision on something else so that I can move through the pain. And then once I've moved through the pain, I can sit down and reflect on the pain. Because otherwise, I'll internalize everything, which is not healthy for anyone.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And then, as you asked, how did I not allow myself to go crazy? I genuinely think it was from just working my way through the pain. And then once that had subsided, being able to sit down and reflect on my actions, the people's actions around me, and then make, tough choices in order to move through that. And that's basically what I did.
Okay. Like, I'm realizing, the more we speak here, you've mentioned your dad a few times. Like, like, growing up here, I think by default, or sometimes depending on obviously the parenting style of our parents, sometimes some of us end up gravitating to either our mom or our dad a bit more the older we get. You get me?
Yeah.
Would you say that for obviously whatever reasons, the older you got, like, between the personal relationship obviously you had between your dad and your mom, would you say, like, you've got, like, a better relationship with your dad to a certain degree, or it's just that your dad has obviously been that person that he's done certain things that you've looked up to or you saw? If you can
I would say I've always had a better relationship with my dad.
Okay.
And I've always had a better relationship with my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
I would say that my dad's side of the family embraced me a lot more, and I felt the love.
Understood.
And I think because of that, I naturally gravitated to my dad's family more.
Okay.
On top of that, I would say that my dad has also done his own inner work, which has allowed us to be able to have uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
And my dad not run from those conversations.
Great. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? So it's been really healing for
that's-
me and him, I think.
Because even, sorry to even cut you,
Yeah.
you saying that you touched a nerve because, like, even me till this day, obviously with certain things over the years that obviously went on with my parents and stuff like that, like I've said a few little things on here, like, one of the things that I really, really want to do as time goes by, but obviously certain people say, like, some people are stuck in their ways and things might not ever happen, but I don't really have many wishes on this planet, but one of my wishes is to one day be able to have a certain very open conversation between my mum and my dad, both of them. But obviously till this day I haven't had it. So when you say that your dad has done, work on himself and you've managed to have those conversations, honestly, man, I feel that's really, really good because obviously, once again, we know, like, our parents, some of them, like what we said, they're stuck in their ways. And
Yeah.
for some of us, we might not be able to get those conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
Well,
unfortunately.
my mum's, I feel, is stuck in her ways.
Yeah.
I don't feel like my mum is willing to have uncomfortable conversations because I don't think she's willing or ready to address her own stuff.
Okay.
And make amends for, they say hurt people.
100%.
And my mum is a very hurt human being from whatever stuff she went through, and a lot of it was projected onto us during our upbringing. I think especially me being the only girl.
Okay.
And so, obviously I'm older now and I've got to a place of forgiveness, but I've also learned that honouring your parent and forgiving your parent doesn't necessarily mean you have to have your parent in your life.
Please say that again. Because I feel like, because I went, even what you just said once again, after doing a certain amount of work on myself as well, that was one of the things that I literally, like, it took me a very, very long time to really, really come to terms with that.
Especially, I think, when you've come from a religious background.
Muslim.
And what like gets hammered at you a lot is you must honour your parent,
Yeah.
And I think that it gets twisted in a sense of, it's thrown at you when your parent's being unfair, and then you want to contest the unfairness. You then get those sort of things thrown back at you.
Yeah.
I.e., you're too disrespectful. We've taught you to honour your parents and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I found that the way I honour my mum is by staying away and loving her from afar and praying goodness for her, and and also continuing to work on myself and let go of the pain and trauma that was put on me at her hands or her actions.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not. But I do feel like something that we're not taught as children is to honour ourselves. I don't think we're taught that. I think we're taught in a sense of, let's say, especially like black families, honour yourself. Like, don't sleep around for girls. Yeah. For boys. Make sure you have a good woman that knows how to cook and look after you. But I think these are the sort of things that create rigid people who have a warped and kind of tunnel vision perception of how they should show up in the world and how other people should show up in the world. Even down to my mum being religious, she's Jehovah's Witness, and something as small as not being able to wear trousers to church and things like that is, to me, extremely silly. And I believe that God loves everyone who has a relationship with him. Absolutely. And who wants to be a better version of themselves. And I don't think it really matters what they wear, On top of that, I think that it's difficult. It's extremely difficult to unpack your own trauma. It takes an incredible amount of mental strength to be able to go back and heal the things that have created you to be a broken human being in society. And not everybody has the guts to do that, man. Like, I say that a lot. I really do. Being able to go within and look at yourself is really about looking at the ugly parts of you. And that's kind of hard to do.
And it's scary for some people.
A lot of the time it's a hard pill to swallow as well. You know what I mean? But I've been through particular experiences in life that forced me to say, well, I know I'm a good person, but what the hell do I need to change about myself to not allow me to be in this predicament ever again? And it taught me, certain things taught me that I was an overgiver, I was a people pleaser. And where did these things stem from? Childhood, So unpacking my childhood has allowed me to mold myself into the person I want to be, rather than to be the person that my experiences made me.
Yeah.